Memoir is not the story of your whole life. It is a snapshot of an event in your life. If you think about that and ponder on that, it won't be so overwhelming to write a book about your life. And I have the definitions all written out on your handout, which is a white sheet of paper that says, be the hero of your own story. So that is our handout for today. Biography is the life story of a person told by usually a famous person written by someone else. Autobiography is the life story of some famous person. I would think of Hillary Clinton's autobiography, I would think of George Bush's, I would think of Bill Clinton's, a really big book. But some famous people, such as Julie Andrews, write memoirs. Okay, so they only go from birth, or 5 years old, to 21. That is a memoir. That's not the whole life. Or the Walk the Line film with Joaquin Phoenix. That was not a whole autobiography. That was only a portion of how he started to where he met the love of his life, June Carter Cash. Memoir is a slice of your life with a specific beginning time and end time that shows themes of growth and development. And this is one aspect that I probably have not put in all my materials, but I'm going to start now, is you are the hero of your memoir, but you are also the mentor of your memoir. And what I mean by that is you are the hero as a character throughout your journey, but as the author, you're the mentor for the reader. You are the guide. And by doing that, if someone reads your book, let's say someone reads Andy's book and they have suffered a stroke, they read his book and they will feel better, and they will feel hopeful that their life is like, gosh, I can't do the things I used to do, my life is over. And through reading Andy's book, they'll say, oh, I feel hope. I don't feel hopeless. If you have those two elements, you are the hero as you go through, and you're also the guide. Your memoir will be successful. If you don't have these two elements, you're starting on shaky territory. All right, that's it. We're all done now. Okay. And everyone pull out, this is, you can tear it off, and it's the final sheet on your handout, and that is fine if you go ahead and tear it off right now, so you have it physically in front of you. This is what we'll be working on today. It's a very template. So memoir is constructed using the hero's journey, which is in front of you, and it is a true story as opposed to a fictional one, meaning that you will be using fictional techniques in your memoir. Fictional techniques are using dialogue, using setting, using characterization, using figurative language, using similes, anyone a poet here? Great. So you're more than welcome to use poetry in your memoir. You can have poetry as language itself, or even as separate poems. That's quite allowed these days. You can also, the main thing is that when you take a true story and you say, I want to make it more using fictional techniques, the biggest thing is that it has to have some sort of plot. And that's where getting the hero aspect of the memoir is. Because if your memoir is only a series of this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and it has no flow and no suspense, and no what happened next, and then this is my story, then this is my story, but there's nothing else there, and it's all beautiful language, that's not a memoir living on, because it does not follow the trajectory of the hero's journey. Also, the hero's journey template, as you see, it's a rising line, looking like an upside down check mark. It's the same exact plot line that writers use in fiction, and that's no mistake. It is quite intentional that writing memoir, you're using the same techniques that fiction writers use. We are all geared for DNA and story in our bones, in our life as human beings. So if we're only looking at snapshots and captions of your life, it will not transcend or transform someone to love your book. And maybe they'll read it, or maybe but it will not be the memoir that you need it to be. Let's turn the page here. A memoir is also about a reckoning. And a reckoning means that you acknowledge your mistakes in your life, and you talk about them with wisdom and with grace to help others guide through those same mistakes. And that's part of being a mentor to your readers. Many people do not want to share their mistakes. I used to do that. Because it's scary, because you're on the stage. Comedians have to share their mistakes and their vulnerabilities all the time. Thank goodness we're not making a living as comedians, because that's the extreme of memoir writing, where you have to throw yourself out there all the time. Do self-deprecation. We don't have to do that to this extreme when we write memoir. But we do have to make fun of ourselves. If we want to be attractive, if our writing wants to be attractive, we do have to put some humor in there. And we do have to acknowledge that we're not perfect. And once that happens, things can be quite successful. Let's study the hero's journey template. You can see it has an x-axis and a y-axis. We have the y-axis going up in a curvy, bumpy line on an upward angle. Memoir's journey, hero's journey is always going to be upward and always positive. Even though it looks a little bumpy like a mountain, that's normal. On the x-axis, you have the age and the time frame. So if you start here with the circle, that is going to be the time. And I want everyone, if you know the age that you feel your memoir starts, go ahead and write that age right here, okay? You can write along with me as I talk. You would write the age that your memoir starts. And if you want to, right now, you can write the age that your memoir ends. And if it's the age you are now, go ahead and write that. And that will really help you, because you say, hey, I don't have to write about my whole life. It's limited. Hey, that frees me up a little bit. Memoir will start with a death. The hero's journey starts with a death. A death doesn't have to be a real death, but it can be a death of a career, death of a limb, death of health, death of a family member that is very close to you. It could be a death of moving away from your hometown. That's also a death. Death is life's change agent. So every time there's an ending, there's also a brand new beginning. And that is how all the great stories begin. They begin with a death. You were thinking about Genesis here, What was that? That was a death, They got cast out, and then they have to go on their hero's journey. Every great story starts with a death. Think of your favorite movies. You can go back to Finding Nemo. That cold open before the credits ran was the death of Marlin the fish, the clownfish, of all his progeny and his wife, except for Nemo. I'm getting chills, but except for Nemo, and why he loved Nemo so much, and that was what started his journey, because he would die if he didn't have Nemo, so he went on this horrible, fantastic journey to find Nemo, his son. But the movie did start with the death. Beauty and the Beast. No, that did not start with the death. In a way, it started with the death of the beast from human to beast. That's one part of it. But the loss of her father prompted Belle to find her father. And that was more in the middle, but that's still a death. And also there was a lot of anger toward that family, Belle and her father's family, because they were other. They were different from everyone else. And that was an alienation. That's also an alienation in the community. Every story will have a hero's journey arc to it. Analyze any story if it is a story. If you don't see a hero's journey, there's probably no story. Events happen, obstacles. And that's what you write about in your memoir. Events and obstacles. Events can be neutral, some can be bad, some can be good, some can be neutral. But they do have to have that same theme of What are you teaching the reader? What things have happened to you that would help a reader transcend the difficulty? Why are they in the story anyway? You're going to encounter friends that will support you on the journey, and you talk about them. You'll also talk about enemies. You'll also talk about circumstances that you thought were positive and they didn't end up being positive. And probably there's some humor thrown in there too. Successes are also very important because a reader wants to read your successes. They don't want it to be a sad, sack memoir. Oh, everything's sad. Then this is the part where is very important, the little death. Fiction writers, this could also be called the big failure. In most works of fiction, there are 3 failures in the plot, and they happen, usually there's one at the end of Act 1, Act 2, and then at the end of Act 2, there's the big failure. At the end of your memoir, in the end of Act 2 of your memoir, if we divide up a memoir into 3 acts, the little death / failure is where you feel, you as a character, you as the person in the book, has failed. And you have to make a decision. Will I go forward or will I go backward? Obviously, if you want, you're going to go forward because heroes go forward no matter what the challenges are, even if there's great sacrifice and great loss. So that is the part where the reader will say, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what happened. What did they do? This is the reason.